Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
The Golden State Warriors are falling apart, and it seems even Steph Curry knows it. Despite his brilliance on the court, the team around him is crumbling. Recent interviews with Steph, Draymond Green, and coach Steve Kerr give off an air of surrender, but is that really the case? Let's break down why the Warriors seem to be waving the white flag, and why it could all be part of a secret plan. The season started strong at 12-3, with the Warriors looking like contenders alongside the Thunder and Rockets. But since then, they've gone 8-17, leaving only the Blazers, Jazz, and Pelicans behind them in the West. The team's offense and defense have fallen apart, with key players underperforming. Buddy Hield, who once looked like a Klay Thompson clone, has dropped from 43% to 33% shooting from three. Jonathan Kuminga hasn't taken the leap many expected, and rookie Brandon Podziemski has regressed. Steph's been forced to carry the team, logging heavy minutes just to eke out wins. Against Minnesota, he played 37 minutes to secure a 1-point victory, a worrying trend for a player at this stage of his career. Trade rumors have swirled, with names like Lauri Markkanen, Paul George, and Jimmy Butler floated. Reports suggested the Warriors were more willing than ever to include Kuminga in a deal.
Desperate trades or desperate moves that deplete the future, like there is a responsibility keeping the franchise when it, in a good space and good spot when it comes to where we leave this thing when we're done. It doesn't mean that you're not trying to get better. It doesn't mean that you're desperate, just flinging assets all around the place. We understand we're getting older and allowing some of the young guys to kind of blossom. It doesn't mean you're getting desperate.
However, those rumors fizzled after Steph's cryptic comments following a loss in Toronto. So, are the Warriors truly giving up? Or is this a calculated move to regroup and retool for another run? One thing's for sure, Steph Curry will need more than his magic to bring the Warriors back to glory. And just like that, ring number 5 is off the table.
We are, and we're on the decline. We know that. It's a young man's game. It would be so irresponsible for this franchise to trade everything away for one final swing at a title. I think you have to know where you.
Are the Warriors really protecting their future or just stalling? The Golden State Warriors were once the NBA's model franchise. Now, it seems their best days are behind them. Despite public statements from Stephen Curry, Draymond Green, and Steve Kerr about their commitment to protecting the team's future, it's hard not to think they're spinning a narrative to preserve their leverage. Let's dive into why their claims don't hold up under scrutiny. The Warriors' supposed commitment to their future feels hollow. A team like the Oklahoma City Thunder or Houston Rockets has a promising future, full of young talent and assets. The Warriors, in contrast, squandered critical opportunities to set themselves up for success. On November 18, 2020, they made one of the most disastrous draft decisions in recent memory, selecting James Wiseman with the 2nd overall pick. Wiseman, riddled with injuries and inefficiencies, was off the roster just 3 years later. The Warriors could have drafted LaMelo Ball, Tyrese Halliburton, or Tyrese Maxey, players who are now stars or rising stars in the league. Their 2021 first-round pick wasn't much better. They selected Jonathan Kuminga over Franz Wagner, Moses Moody, or Alperen Sengun. Kuminga has shown flashes but remains unproven and inconsistent. These misses are in stark contrast to the Spurs, who built their dynasty through smart drafting, finding gems like Kawhi Leonard. Former Warriors general manager Bob Myers deserves a significant share of the blame for these failures, as these missteps have left the team with limited young talent to lean on. Steph Curry has publicly endorsed the so-called two-timeline plan, claiming the team can balance competing for championships now while developing young players for the future. But even his words seem carefully chosen. For instance, Curry described the Warriors' young players as blossoming, a term that feels more aspirational than factual. If the Warriors were truly committed to their young core, why didn't they extend Jonathan Kuminga this past offseason? Kuminga was eligible for an extension but didn't receive one, signaling the organization isn't sold on him long-term. Now, the Warriors risk losing him to restricted free agency, where teams like the Nets or Wizards could offer him a near-max deal. Would Golden State match such an offer, or let him walk for nothing? The answer seems obvious: the Warriors don't see Kuminga or their other young assets as untouchable. They're holding them in reserve for the right trade package, not for a long-term future in Golden State. The real reason the Warriors haven't made a big trade isn't about protecting their future, it's about waiting for the perfect deal. The current trade market doesn't offer the transformational piece they want. Names like Jimmy Butler, Zach LaVine, Bradley Beal, Nikola Vucevic, and Kyle Kuzma have been floated, but none of them would turn the Warriors into surefire contenders. Even a star like Jimmy Butler might not be enough. What the Warriors want is a franchise-altering player, someone like Giannis Antetokounmpo. This is why Curry and Kerr are publicly preaching patience. They want to maintain leverage while holding out for a potential blockbuster.